Hey, what is up, everyone? This is Ete with another episode of Eco Law and Science. As I've been out and about working with my service-based company, I'm seeing a lot of thistle starting and beginning even a little earlier already, and I've seen some at different stages. So I want to just take a few minutes, talk about what I'm seeing, and see what we can do about it. So thistle, most people know because they are a noxious weed. They're an invasive species, and they plague this country. They grow in fields, they grow by the river. I mean, they grow everywhere. And so it's one of those few weeds like a dandelion that everybody knows that when you say thistle, you can see the spikes, the spinies on it that will, you walk through a patch, it'll just cut you up. That's the plant we're going to be talking about today. So here in Utah, there's primarily about 5 main different species of thistle in Utah that we're dealing with. I know there are more out there, but this is, more of a local show. So I want to just do kind of a rough overview of them. I'm not going to dig too deep into each one. I just want to talk a little bit about what they are and what we can see, and then what we should be doing right about now. It's beginning of May, and so now is the perfect time in most areas. So there are some areas still covered in snow, way up by Deer Valley and up above the canyons, so the resorts. So not quite yet up there, but everywhere else in the lower areas in the Salt Lake, Wasatch County areas, and lower Park City, Summit County, and across. It's time. It's go time. So I'm already seeing some rosettes. So that's generally of the 5 types. So let's go over them real quick. So we got our musk thistle, Canada thistle, yellow star or thistle, the plumbless thistle, and the scotch thistle. So those are the main ones that I'm seeing here. Again, there are more. So the one that really stands out is the Canada thistle. Because of the bunch, they reproduce by rhizomes. So the rhizomatous, they're connected underground. And the Canada thistle are the ones that I'm just starting to see some now. Usually, so now they're really small, but these are the ones that they're a little bit lighter green, and they're small. They don't go out wide. They just go out maybe an inch or two, and then they just go up, they can go up to 2, 3, 4 feet. And then they get the little purple flower, but these don't get wide leaves. They're really thin, and they're kind of easier to spot or to identify. And they spread by rhizomes. So that's what's so hard about them is when you do a treatment, or if you're going to mechanically remove them, you've got to really attack all of everything you see on the property. Otherwise, if there's 500 little shoots popping up and you hit 200 or 300 of them, but you miss some, it's just gonna regenerate, and it's kind of like a morning glory weed where it just keeps coming. Versus some of these biennials like the musk thistle, the scotch thistle. These are the plants that reproduce by seed. And so, but real quick, I'll stay on Canada thistle. They can get 2 to 5 feet tall. So they stay thin. Little tiny purple flowers, and they get real soft and have this cottony look once they've gone to seed. So I really recommend, if you see them, and let's say you are going to do a spray treatment on them, because they're the hardest to kill in my opinion, in my experience. You really have to attack every little shoot that you see. And if you get them now while they're still small, I'm only seeing about maybe an inch to 2 inches up so far, so it's a great time to get them. Get them while they're young. You can use safer products, and you can take care of them right away. But it's kind of an ongoing thing. You'll see them a lot in late summer, so late July, August. Here in this area is when they just go crazy. And so, they're the tricky one. But those stand out because they do spread by rhizomes underneath the soil. So then you have your musk and scotch thistle. Those are probably the most common. When you think of thistle, you think of one of the two. The musk thistle, they spread by seed, and each plant can have up to 20,000 seeds. It could be anything up to 20,000 seeds in a plant. And so think about this. That's the one that grows. They're darker green in the rosette, so that when they're little babies, when they first come up, they could be about 4 or 6 inches wide and low to the ground. And then they stalk, and then they go to seed. They flower. And so with those, each plant could have 20,000 seeds. So you do the math. One plant left untouched, drops those 20,000 seeds, 10,000 seeds, whatever may be in there. Within a few years, you have a massive infestation. And they're really great at growing. They don't take a lot. And so they take over really quick. These things can go 8, 10 feet tall. I've actually have a picture of me standing in some. I was on a mountain bike trail a few years ago, and I saw ones, I think they're about 10 to 11 feet. I couldn't measure it, but I just looked. It was about double my height. So that gives away how short I am. But anyway, yeah, they were there, and it was just incredible. So these can get out of control. They're very sharp and uncomfortable, and on trails, it's a nightmare. You're mountain biking, they cut you up. Your pets go out, they're just a nuisance. They have about a 7 to 9 week flowering period. So you've got about almost a month and a half to really get them before they flower. Once they flower, it's basically too late. And that's for most thistle. Once they flower, meaning you see the head, that purple come up and it's out, it's exposed. Even if you were to spray those right there, you can't kill those seeds. You can kill that plant. In most cases, it's not necessary because that plant is on its way out anyway once it drops those seeds. So what you have to do with any of them, when you see the head, the purple flowers, the best thing to do is actually to cut them off and bag them and remove those seeds and then spray or mechanically remove, however you want to take care of that. But those seeds you're going to prevent the next crop from getting into your seed bank. So with thistle control, it's all about timing and it's about being consistent. Scotch thistle can go up to 40,000 seeds in a head. Those are the ones that can be even wider than the musk. The musk has that wide rosette at the bottom, and then they grow tall, and they have the purple flower. Where the scotch could still have the purple flower, and they can grow really tall or short, but they get wide. I have seen some 4 or 5 feet around. And again, think about that when someone calls you very late and say, "I got a thistle problem." Now is the time to do it. May is the time to begin your treatment. If you call me in June when it's already flowering at 4 feet wide, I have to use more product, which is not good for the environment. I have to, and the cost goes up because they're a lot harder to treat. And then, as we said, the yellow star and the plumless thistle, just throw them in there. You don't see those as much here. I've seen them on some trails. The yellow star, you see it every once in a while in comparison to the others, and they're not as recognizable, but they do have yellow. They have these nasty star heads, and then there's the yellowish flower. And I'm sorry, I forgot bull thistle. And which I know some people eat that one, but bull thistle is kind of the scariest of all. You can see it a mile away. It looks the most evil. It looks dangerous, like it's got scissors and knives standing out of it. So that's the one you don't want to run into. They're not as common, but they get big and they're very sharp and spiky. So those are the ones I see the most. But again, what I'd recommend is right now, it's May. I'm already seeing them in most areas. So go through your native areas where they grow. Go through your pastures. They can grow in the lawn. The Canada thistle, you'll see more in the lawn and the flower beds. Now is the time to go through and just spot treat or remove them. Again, with some of them, like the rhizomatous ones, are going to be a little harder to remove mechanically because they'll just grow back. But if you do it now while the plants are small, they haven't stalked, they haven't flowered, you are going to save yourself so much money and time and headache. It really depends on the property, what's going to germinate. But on average, I know I like to go through my properties about 3 times a year to do this noxious weed or this thistle control. And I have found when I do that, I just get everything while it's young, and it keeps it simple. If you call again when it's too late and things are flowered, you've already got the seeds that are out there. They're already going to drop, so you kind of miss the ball. So right now is a great time. Go through and just start spot treating or removing your thistle. You can, when they are young like this, you can use a lot more environmentally friendly products that might not be as strong. But once they get out of hand, it's a little too hard to get control of them. One that's kind of the county would recommend is called Milestone. And I do like that product. It was listed for rangelands. So if I can't get it with a more organic product, that's one of the go-tos I like. It doesn't have the 2,4-D, and it does a great job, and it's supposed to be a little safer for the wildlife animals. And since most of these thistle are growing in trails and pastures, that's the big concern there. So anyway, it's a great time. And again, if you get them now, you don't have to use much. You may only have to use a few ounces on your whole property. But it's just time. It's just developing an eye for it, walking the property, every inch of it, and then just spot treating very lightly what's coming up. And if you do it now, you're in good shape. Anyway, that's a little bit about thistle. Hope you guys have a great day and have a blast out there searching for thistle.